Hi, and welcome back. Let's talk about the surrogate key. So we learned that we have the natural keys that, such as social security number, uh, that are natural attributes of elements, objects, or persons in a table or database. Then we also learned about keys that are created and attributed by either the system or people and institutions, such as the student ID. In this video, I'm going to talk about the surrogate key, which is uh, a type of invented or created key, except that it's something that's internal to the tables or to the database management system. In other words, it has no value to the real world business. So, for example, a student ID is something that a student will know what a student ID is, and it will probably be printed on his or her ID card. And SSN number is also something that the student would know because it has uh, application even outside the school. Now, with the surrogate key, uh, it's different. As the word surrogate itself implies, a substitute or alternative, it's pretty much an alternative key that we invent to use as a primary key. Simple as that. So, for example, if we are looking at a table that does not have a good candidate for a primary key, then we invent a surrogate key to be able to use records for relationships in the future. So, for example, I created a surrogate key here, and again, I forgot to mention that it doesn't have to be created in the absence of other primary key. Sometimes, sometimes the DB administrators chooses to use a surrogate key instead of using a more like a universal primary key, such as a student ID, or a natural universal primary key, such as as SSN. So they may choose to use a surrogate key, which has, its advantages. And so that's something to keep in mind that it can happen in both in the presence and absence of other potential universal primary key candidates. So in this case, I went ahead and created a column called DBID. And as you can see, I created substitute IDs for each of these student records. And it goes in from 01, 01, 001, and it goes up uh, by the increments of 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. So the advantage of surrogate keys is that uh, you have control over it. You can change it, you can code it, uh, the format of it. You can apply any sort of complex identification nexus system where, instead of 001, you can start with, like, let's say letters, like, let's say DXY, dashes, something like that. If you have looked at, more complicated identifier numbers that has a combination of, like, letters and numbers. So that will be at your discretion to be able to perform that. Although on the disadvantage side, it's just a little bit more work for you, and it will be a little bit more work for you. You'll have to create a new field or column, and then you'll have to, depending on your data, you'll have to hard code to automate that the assignment of surrogate key for each of your record. And the other disadvantage is that, again, it has no real world value. So the value only is only limited to the actual table, not outside the table. This is it. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.